Right. We now know, thanks to the roadmap set out by the government, that we will be getting back to archery eventually. There's a few dates been thrown around, and we are still waiting for guidance from Archery GB to tell us you may start on this date because we don't know whether grassroots sport will be included in the rule of six. If it isn't, we might be able to arrive to go back sooner. If it is included, then we might have to come up with a different solution for getting people in the club shooting together. So it's either the end of March or somewhere around the middle of April. That's quite helpful. We've got a month. I mentioned during one of the social calls on Thursday that we're down to, what are we at, 27,000 members? Which isn't so bad. It will go back up again eventually. But one of the things that we're worried about is suddenly having 10 or 15,000 injured archers by the end of week one. So we want to get our bodies back moving in a way that it hasn't moved for quite some time. I certainly haven't picked my bow up since September, which is very bad of me. And most of us haven't shot since last February, I don't think. Or last March, certainly. So I've put together a little list of exercises and movements that we can do for everything from not strenuous at all to standard warm-ups that we do in our sessions that you can do on a chair or in your house whenever you think about it, because the more we start getting moving again, the easier it will be eventually. So I don't know if you want to follow along with me or watch what I'm doing, but feel free. I'll start with clothing because, like me, you might find that certain items of clothing no longer fit. Our bodies may have changed shape. Mine certainly has. But working on that, getting out of the house more, it might mean that you end up need to buying some new clothes. That's fine. I've gone for something which gives me a bit of stretch, a bit of movability. This type of sleeve that I asked the SU to turn into our competition tops. I can't remember what it's called. Somebody who's got a degree in textiles might be able to tell you. But the seam runs right up to the neck rather than going around the shoulder. It starts with the letter R. Raglan, that's the one. It means that when you're doing shoulder movements, I find it more comfortable. The point to that little rant that I went off on is that find some clothing that is comfortable to wear. It gives you some room to move around, and it won't cause you to sweat too much, I suppose. And the most basic movement you can do, basically from anywhere. I am sitting down in a chair because I'm attached by a wire, and if I stand up, I might break something. So I will stay sat down for now. The very first thing you can do is roll your shoulders. It's the first thing we do during warm-ups, during sessions. It can be done anywhere. If you're around other people, you can even look a bit strange if you like. Forwards and backwards. You can do it independently, one forwards, one backwards. That is a good one because you can concentrate on trying to remember how your back muscles feel, and certainly the groups of muscles around your back. It will feel strange to start them moving around, but the more you do it, the more you'll remember what it feels like to move them about. Beyond that, another one of our club favourites is if you link your hands together and draw circles around your face, and again focus on your back muscles. You'll be able to feel them moving around. Those are two really very easy ones. I've been trying to do those a bit more. You don't necessarily have to do them at a time every day or anything like that. Just whenever you think about it, get on with it a little bit. Unless you like a routine, in which case, do whatever suits you. Beyond that, one of our favourites from normal club sessions is arms out to your side. I can't see where I am in the middle. And without bouncing, you're actually raising your arms up and down. You don't want to bounce because that will hurt your muscles. So raise your arms up and down, palms up, and do that 10 times. Palms down, do that 10 times. One up, one down, and swap. And if you do a few of those, you'll start to feel things burning, which will be very nice. Another favourite one, the lucky cat. So you've got your arms at right angles, one down, one up. Or if you can manage going down all the way. If you can't manage going down all the way, just go halfway. And if you want to make it harder than going all the way around, going down at an angle will make it more difficult for you. Beyond that, we do also want to tackle the areas of the body that are not just sat down. I wonder what will happen if I stand up. So things like drawing circles with your hips, drawing circles with your knees, the skiing exercise, that's also a good one. It'll make you look very daft. Please make sure you've got enough room to do these. Don't want to clout people in your family or knock things over. And beyond that, stretches for the neck, looking left and right, and then up and down. Because you haven't done those for a while, I would be very careful about doing any side to side, because when you do side to side, it's very easy to strain yourself. And also in circles, it's easier to strain yourself than just looking in a straight direction. After that, we are going to look at the skills and drills that Lloyd Brown is trying to introduce with the beginners, but I think they're really good to do as practice exercises at home in sessions. I've done a few of these with you, and I cannot for the life of me remember what they're called, but I'm going to run through them again. The first one that you have is putting your shoulders in your ears, shoulders right up, and then down, and then right up, and then down, and then touching the floor with your shoulders and relaxing. Up, relax, down, relax. After that, we've got the movement exercise where I'm at a strange angle, so I'll have to do it side on to you. You're going to raise your arms up without allowing your shoulders to come up. So if you do it wrong, your shoulders will go like this. Okay, I've exaggerated the movement. But if you do it right, what you want to do is raise your arms with your shoulders staying in place. That is from a relaxed position. That is the position we want to retrain ourselves to remember. That's the position you hold the bow in, and that's what we want to get back into the habit of. So coming up and holding it for a few seconds and coming back down. Over the next few weeks, we'll start making that a little bit more tricky, particularly if you have some tins of chopped tomatoes or beans. You can hold those in your hands. I know people have weights, but tins of stuff are just as good. And holding those and doing the same exercise will start to strengthen the muscles as well. But that's more to do getting into strengthening muscles. I'm just trying to remind you what the movements are for the time being. Then we have clinny band exercises, and I cannot believe, after talking about clinny bands so much this week, I've forgotten to bring one upstairs with me. Maybe I'll save that for another time then. What a fool. After that, I remind you about the cool down stretches. We do some warm-ups, we do some movements. We should also remember to do the cool down. It's just a matter of good practice, because particularly when we get back to it, we would definitely need to remember to always do a warm-up and always do a cool down to prevent injury more than anything. So your cool down stretches are arm across the body, other arm pulling it a little bit further and holding. You don't want to pull it round so that you're forcing yourself. You just want to feel a slight stretch on the muscle. On the other side, it's therapeutic. I'd forgotten how cathartic it is doing these. And then you have one arm up and touch your shoulder blade, pushing your arm backwards. Once you've done that, touching the other shoulder blade and pulling your arm across. And the same for the other, because whatever you do on one side, you want to do with the other, so you're always balanced. There are some more. Another good. I just realised that you won't be able to see it because it's the one where you put your arms up and one hand pushes the other backwards like that, and then you swap. That's a good one. And stretching out the neck, so one arm goes behind your back, your other hand catches you, and you stretch slowly. And on the other side. Even just demonstrating those, I can feel that my muscles are crying out saying, you haven't done this for ages, I hate you. But the more you do it, the more you will remember it, and the more it will come back. We have talked about doing some strengthening conditioning, and we will go down that road. I'm always a bit concerned with strengthening conditioning because a lot of people I know try and do exercises that you hold for as long as possible. And I don't know, maybe in gymnastics that's a goal. I don't know. But for me, for archery, what I like to do is focus on what I like to teach, particularly my juniors to do, is focus on doing a single exercise and holding it for a small amount of time, then relaxing back into a neutral position, and then doing it again. So if, for example, I can't do the plank here, there's not enough room on the floor. If you're going to hold a plank, rather than holding it for 20 seconds or 30 or a minute or as long as possible, get yourself into the plank position, hold it for 10 seconds or 5, and then come back down. If you build up the strength to be able to hold it for as long as possible, that's certainly one goal. But I would rather that you build up the ability to come back to a consistent position right for a short amount of time, rather than the wrong position for a long time. Archery is all about consistency, as we hark on about all the time. And we want you to be able to maintain or repeat a position consistently, rather than just having lots of strength to hold something and it be wrong. So we will get into some of that strength and conditioning, and I will find somewhere more suitable to do it than this room on this floor. And hopefully we'll be able to do this in person. I'm not sure how long I've been talking for. I said half an hour, but I think that's more like 15 minutes. That's probably enough. I could get into a discussion about things are going to hurt. This is going to hurt. Because we haven't done it for a long time, trying to get muscles to do what they used to do, it's manageable. We can manage it. That's why I'm trying to encourage everybody to do a few of these a couple of times a week, or a few once a day, maybe, if you've got that time on your hands. But you are going to feel that your muscles will start to develop again, and that's going to ache. Anticipate this. This is why we do a warm-up and a cool-down, to try and alleviate any damage that's caused by doing this. We don't want to be damaging ourselves. Work with it. It will be worth it. We will get back. We will have a good time again. We're looking forward to doing a 24-hour shoot if we can. I think that would be quite nice. Maybe not on the scale we had planned before lockdown, but certainly with the club taking turns shooting over the 24 hours for charity, I think that would be very nice. I think I've just about covered everything apart from equipment. Equipment has probably been sitting in your bag or your box for a year, and that's all right. With juniors yesterday, we were talking about having growing spurts and how arrows might be too short. I don't necessarily think that's a problem unless Phoebe's grown 4 inches in the uh, last year.
I can guarantee you I haven't. It's fine.
But bows being kept in I don't know how to say this. You have to be really careful with how you store archery equipment because particularly limbs are vulnerable to changes in weather. That is one of the reasons why we made sure that all our club equipment was not stored in a non-weather sealed container over the winter, but instead in a building that's temperature controlled. But you need to check your limbs for signs that they've twisted, for signs that they might be delaminating. You need to check your riser for chips, cracks. Chips are not so damaging, but certainly cracks, anything that looks like it might be of concern. It's a good time to check your arrows. You might find that they need refletching, in which case there's lots of videos out there, or you can ask me and we'll figure it out. We might even do a fletching session by Zoom. What a good idea. Checking arrows, checking your nocks. I might even recommend everybody starts again with the nocks because we were having so many problems with knocked arrows falling off strings. It might be worth starting again. Strings don't last forever. I know I need to make myself a new one. I've had mine for about 2 years, and to say that I make them, it's not particularly good. I keep making them for everybody else and forgetting myself. So sometimes a fresh string. Beyond that, I think I've covered most things. Check all your equipment. Check yourself. Make sure you're comfortable. We will have fun again. We will get there.